Alright guys, welcome to another video. And today we're going to be doing a flight from Cuba to Jamaica. And we're sitting here at, what's this, International Airport. I don't know how to pronounce this, but it's Spanish, I guess. And it's Ignacio Agramonte Carmagüey. I see. Anyway, it's in Cuba, and we're gonna take the Pilatus PC12 down to Jamaica. Right. So the last time I did this video, I crashed on approach. Not crashing the plane, but the simulator crashed. So hopefully everything keeps up this time, and we can finish the flight. So let's take a look at our flight plan. Alright, so as you can see, it's about central Cuba, right? And it's in Camagüey. Yes, I don't know anything about this town. It's just an airport that was available. I think this came available in the World Update. I don't remember exactly, but we can always go back and check. I don't check these things before I make these videos. It just takes too much time, right, to research everything and all that jazz. So instead, I'll just wing it and go ahead. So anyway, we're gonna fly from Camagüey in Cuba all the way down to Aracabesa in Jamaica. We're gonna fly into MKBS, which is Ian Fleming International Airport. Okay, so it's gonna take us about 1 hour and 20 minutes, I believe. I think I saw that somewhere. Okay, yeah. Block time is 1 hour and 13 minutes. Air time is only 45 minutes. And we are flying the Tradewind livery of the Pilatus PC12, the 4-blade version. Alright, let's look at our charts. So, for Camagüey International here, we're gonna be flying here, so we're gonna be leaving from apron number 2, and we're gonna be taking off from runway 8. So this taxiway here is no longer used, so and I think this section here is like a ramp for other airplanes, so we won't go on that ramp. Okay, I forgot, let me start our injector so that we can have some airplanes in the sim. Okay, and we'll also be using the in-sim ATC. It works. I'm not really a big fan of it, but I kind of like some form of instruction and hearing stuff go over the radio. We'll allow the first officer or our co-pilot to manage the radios. She's pretty good at that. We'll just have to intervene from time to time, but for the most part she does a very good job. Alright, so I'm assuming they're gonna give us instructions to taxi to runway 8 via Echo. So we're gonna do Echo and back taxi all the way down to runway 8, and then we're gonna do a takeoff. Okay. Alright, so once we leave there, so once we take off, we're gonna do an immediate right-hand turn and intercept this flight path here, and then we're gonna fly all the way down to Imadi and then to Blask, which is our first waypoint in the RNP 09 for runway 9. So we'll take the RNP. Alright, so let's review. So okay, so the weather. So MUCM is VFR, and Ian Fleming, they don't have much information here. So let's just take the weather here first. airports. Weather. Okay, so MUCM. So this was taken at on the 26th at 005 Zulu. 0050 Zulu. So that's 12:50 Zulu time. The weather was wind is blowing 050 at 5 knots. Okay. 9,000. View at 2,000. Okay. Temperature is 22 and altimeter is 1014. Okay. Oh, okay, so that 9,000 was 9,000 meters visibility. I guess this is in metric. Alright. I'm kind of used to it in imperial units or for US. Anyway, let's just take a quick look at the weather for Arakabeso. So this one was taken earlier, and it's 140 at 6 knots. Okay, so yeah, so we'll have a slight crosswind going in from, because we're going to land on runway 9. And it's 140, so it's a slight crosswind from the right. Okay. Alright, so that's broken at 2,000 feet. Alright, ceiling is 2,000 feet. So we'll take the RNP, and that should give us enough. So if we go back to flights, let's select an approach. This one. Okay. And let's say add to route. Excellent. And this chart here, so we're going to be at Blask at 4,000, and then Zanpa 3,100. Okay. Now the ATC may not give us this RNP, but what I'll try to do, I'll try to enter it into the GPS and then see what happens. See if it, and before I request the IFR clearance, and see if it will take that. Alright, so okay, so we'll review the rest of this once we are in our cruise. Okay. Alright, minimize this for now. Minimize this. Alright, so the doors are open and we're ready to board the passengers. So let's get on with it. Okay. Alright, so I have my checklist here on my tablet. I'll just go through it. So, we're gonna say, well, we're gonna call her Jane. Typical AI name, I guess. We're gonna ask, we've asked Jane to complete the walk around and the external inspections. So we're gonna say she's done that, external inspection done. Okay, so let's now board our passengers. So, let's go back out to this. Let's look. So, alright, so passenger 7, cargo 350. So our total payload is 1,540. So let's add that. Alright, so now I'm gonna add 340, sorry, extra pounds. So 6, 7, 8, about there. Because it doesn't, I think the same brief plan accounts for the 2 pilots at 170 pounds each for the empty weight. So I think I'm doing the right thing. But anyway, let's continue. Let's load our fuel. So our block fuel is 954. And let's see, trip. So trip we're expected to use in 3:30. Contingency about 15 minutes, 108. Alternate is 170. And final reserves is 226. Minimum takeoff fuel is 834. We're not carrying any extra fuel. This model is a bit more efficient than the sim brief calculations, so I'll just account for that and just say, alright, we already have a little bit extra because the sim brief model doesn't burn as much fuel. No, sorry, the in-sim version doesn't burn as much fuel as the sim brief model. Alright, so takeoff fuel 834, taxi 120, block fuel 954. So let's add that. Okay, 970, close enough. Alright, so we're all loaded. Now let's quickly close the doors and get on our way. Excuse me, miss. Oh, no. Okay, right there, the latch is locked. And then we're gonna grab this door here. Alright, got that locked. Alright, and then we're gonna sit in our seat. Okay, now onto the rest of the checklist. So, entry door closed and locked. Check. Luggage secured and stowed. Check. I can show you that. It's actually pretty cool here. So when we add it, it does actually add bags here, which is cool. Okay, so that's checked. Passenger oxygen masks. We're gonna assume Jane took care of that. Checked. Okay. Alright, so pre-flight checklist. The parking brake is set, and we're gonna push the pedals and set it. That's already set. External power switch is off. Let's just look up on our heads up panel here. So external power switch is off, battery 1 switch off, battery 2 switch off, Gen 1 and Gen 2 switches off. So here we have battery 1, battery 2, Gen 1, Gen 2, they're both off in the down position. Avionics bus 1 and 2, they're off. Okay, check. Okay, non-essential bus in auto. Yep, that's right. And then standby bus switch can come on. Test lamp
Agramont
switch.
Tower GOODSP ED 122 tree ready to copy IFR clearance to Mike Kilo Bravo Sierra.
Goodspeed 122 tree is cleared to Mike Kilo Bravo Sierra Airport as filed. Takeoff runway 08 climb and maintain 13,000 feet. Departure frequency is 123.7 squawk 0662.
Goodspeed 122 tree cleared to Mike Kilo Bravo Sierra Airport as filed. Takeoff runway 08 climb and maintain 13,000 feet. Departure on 123.7 squawk 0662.
Goodspeed 122 tree readback is correct. Contact ground on 118.5 when ready to taxi. Good day.
Okay, Jane, they're very eager to go. Alright, so let's continue with the checklist. So we push the test lamp switch button and check all the lights are on and are not blown. And we also check these red lights, which are very important because they warn us about issues with the power buses, right? Okay, yeah, so test lamp switch push and check lights. Yes, that's done. External light switches are off. Okay, so we uncheck this. So all the external light switches are off. Yes. Fuel pump switches are in auto, which is this low position here. It's kind of dark, but it's in auto. Ignition in auto. Yeah, let me check this off. Yes. De-icing switches, which are over here are off. inertial separator is off, which is this switch here. You can see all these switches a bit better in the light. Cooling system switch off, which is down here. It's off. Heating switches off. Heating system switch off, yes. Passenger wing switches off. Yeah, those are like the seatbelt signs, and these are over here. Circuit breakers check in. Okay, so I'm gonna turn on the light here. Let's see. No, so cabin light. Turn on lights. Oh, not on standby. Okay. Okay, so these don't come on standby. All right, let's just wait until we get them. So circuit breaker switches. So we're going to check for any white or colored colors here, and we have none. This is just colored separately as an important switch. And then we're going to check over here. Excuse me, Jane. And let's check no white colors over here. So we're good to go. All right. Oops, sorry. All right. So we're now going to check. Remove that yoke so we can see. So the E-phase switch should be in norm, which it is. Landing gear handle is down. The ECS is off, which it is. Cabin pressure switch in auto, which it is here. And then our cabin pressure controller we're gonna set. So that's gonna set to our cruise altitude. So that, I believe, is 23,000 feet. So, yep, so our flight level is 230. Alright, so let's zoom in here. So, if you can see, there's like a line, a dark line in the middle here. Hope you can see. It's kind of dark. We'll just double check it again before we go. So, let me just look carefully here. Yeah, so we set it to 23,500, right? We normally set it to 500 above our actual cruising altitude. Okay, so that's set. Right, trim interrupt switch, which is down here on the pedestal, that's set to norm. The flap interrupt switch is also set to norm. The manual override lever, which is right here, that's off. So this you can use actually control the throttle with this. I don't know if it's modeled in sim, I've never tried it, but this power control lever, when you move this up and down, it has some kind of governor system that doesn't allow the engine to be over torqued, right? So it manages the propellers and the pitch of the propellers and everything together to not over torque the engine as much as possible. But when you use this one, it just controls the speed of the engine. It doesn't care about the propeller pitch or anything like that. So this one, when you use this one in an emergency, you can actually damage the engine. But this one is a little bit more less risky, I guess, or a little less risky. So we just want to make sure that that's off. The power control lever is in the idle detent, so I'm just going to move my throttles here. Oh, uh-oh. So see? Let me plug my throttles in. Okay, perfect. All right, so let's resume. Okay, so I'm gonna go cut off that. Then I'm going to move my throttle just to make sure that... Yeah, I just want to make sure... Oh, I want to make sure I'm still recording. Yes. Okay, perfect. Yeah, I still am. Okay, it just sounds a little bit quieter in my ears. Okay. Alright, anyway, let's continue. So the manual override lever is off. The power control lever is in the idle detent. And yep, that's in the idle. And then we have the condition lever in the cutoff position. Right. Oh, sorry about that. Alright, yeah, it just sounds very low. I don't know. Let me turn up my volume a little bit more. Alright, so, yep, and then the flap lever is at 0 degrees. Alright, so let's speed through this a little faster. So the cockpit instruments should be off, which are these. Yep, they are. Fuel shutoff lever fully in, which is this lever here on the side of the pedestal. So if we were to go back and down, so this lever should be fully in to the pedestal and stowed, right? The hydraulic hand pump is in as well, and then the ECS emergency shutoff is also in. So what this does is, if you lift this handle, there is a system that actually takes heat from the engine and takes bleed air from the engine and pumps it into the cabin. And if there's an engine fire, of course that bleed air is going to have smoke. So that lever there is to close that valve between the engine and the cabin, just to make sure the cockpit is not filled with smoke in case of an engine fire. Alright, so let's check those off. Alright, so before start, pre-flight, so the guys are getting hot in the back here. Oh, it's 22. Let's go, keep going. So pre-flight inspection completed. Yes. Seatbelts fastened. Yes. Battery 1 and 2 can come on. So battery 1, battery 2. Did I do battery 2 there? Nope, that's Gen 2. Sorry. Battery 2. Okay. Perfect. Overhead panel voltmeter check. So we need 24 volts minimum. That's perfect. Landing gear should have 3 greens. Yes, it does, but my Bravo throttle doesn't show the 3 greens it normally does. I don't know what's going on there. We'll see. Okay. We'll just check that for now. Fuel contents check. So we're gonna hit this reset button because it's the first time starting the plane, so it's not gonna have a fuel level. Okay. Yep, so we have 970. Okay, and our minimum fuel was... No, our block fuel was 950 something. Alright, so that's good. Fuel pump left check. Alright, so no indications on the panel, and then we're gonna put it into on. Okay, we can hear the pump running, and we see a light. Oh, here. Okay, so that's what's happening. I thought I was able to fix that, but okay. So okay, that's interesting. The light is still not showing on the on my actual throttle. So anyway, right pump. Okay, and we have an indication. All right, that's good. Oxygen lever can come on. Oxygen pressure 1850 max. Okay, let's switch on some lights. Oh, wow. Okay, so 1850 max. So it should not be over 1850. It's right on the red line, which is good. That means we have a full bottle. And the passenger oxygen switch. Let's check this. So we're going to flip it all the way to on. Okay, passenger oxygen light comes on, and then we're going to switch it back to auto, and then that should extinguish. Perfect. Oxygen mask as required, so our oxygen mask is right there. Okay, and the pilot ventilation window is closed, so this little window on the side here, it is modeled here, and I can open it to take notes and stuff from the ground crew, but we're going to make sure that's closed. Okay. Alright, external light as required. So we're gonna put on our beacon lights. Okay. No, let's put on our nav lights. I think I want to change my checklist a little bit, but let's put on our nav lights for now. Okay, fuel quantity check. Yes, 970 and equal on both sides. EIS system test. So we're going to test this display to make sure that all the segments light up, which they are. Then it's going to go through a system check. And then it's going to return to normal. Okay, so that's perfect. Then the test fire switch, we're going to push that. So fire. And then we should get a cause warning here, engine fire and fire detect. Alright, that's perfect. Gonna disable that, and the test lamp switch again. Just make sure that all the lights are still working up here, and then we're gonna check the cause to make sure that the cause lights are working as well. Okay, and then all these lights here are also working. Well, there's one thing, I'm not sure if these lights actually respond to the test button, the test lamp, because some of them don't actually light up, but I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Propeller area is clear. Beacon light can come on. And then so propeller area is clear. Clear left. Clear right. And clear front. Alright. Starter switch can push. Okay. So we have NG. Then we're looking for oil pressure here. Yep, oil pressure. NG is now over 20, so we're going to advance the condition level to ground idle. Then we're going to watch for the ITT not to go over 800 degrees. Okay, and that's a good engine start. So we're at around 690 was the peak there. This is good, and we're above 65% on the NG, so we didn't have a honk start. Okay, and all the engine parameters are in the green. So starter switch push, engine instruments check, fuel totalizer reset. I'm gonna reset that again, and then. So generator 1 and 2 switches can come on, and then we're going to check the cause that these lights extinguish, and then we're going to turn off any external power, so there's no external power. Alright, so let's do that. So Gen 1 and Gen 2
Warning,
can come on.
avionic bus.
Good. And then external power, so the cause lights have extinguished, which is good. External power switch, if used, we did not use it. External power unit disconnect, we did not use. Inverter bat gen check. So let's just make sure. Okay, so we're going over to battery, and we're good. And go back to inverter gen 1. We're good. So this little amperage here flickered a little bit. I'm just thinking that you want to make sure that you have power regardless of which position the switch is in. Okay. Avionics bus 1 and 2 can come on. Standby bus switch can go off. Overhead panel light check. So this is to push this one to, I think it's dim, yep. And then we hit the fire button.
Fire, fire, fire.
Okay. Okay. And alright, that's it. There's some lighting that's supposed to change, I believe, but I don't know if that's modeled. Anyway, next. So bus standby switch, overhead panel light check, initial altitude. So they asked us to climb to 13,000 feet. Okay. On that. Flight director can come on. Alright. Radios and avionics. Let's boot these up. While that boots up, let's continue the checklist. ECS can go to auto. Temperature setting as required. Cold. Our guys are going to be hot, so cooling and heating system as required. So they're hot, so we're going to switch on the cooling system, and then we're going to open the inertial separator. Okay, and then now we're just waiting on the GPS and the avionics to load. Right, so 2 more things on the clause there, and we'll deal with that when we taxi out. Okay, so we're just waiting on that GPS signal to acquire. Jane has already activated our transponder here, which is pretty good. Okay, yes. In the meantime, I'm just gonna hit B to set the altimeter. Alright, so that's 29904. Okay, so we have GPS down here. That's good to the flight plan. And then here we're just gonna rotate to that arc view. Okay, let's zoom out just a little bit. So as we said, we're gonna take off runway 08, and then above 500 feet, we're gonna make a right-hand turn and then intercept our flight plan all the way down. Okay, let me set this to nav. Sure, this is nav. Yep. Because the last time I flew this, it's on that VOR thing, but for some reason when I switch it in the air to GPS or nav, it goes off weird. Alright, so next, before taxi, so AHRS 1 and 2 check no flags. So this is the AHRS, these 2 computer screens here. So the flag is like an X, right? Signifying that the unit is not functional. So there are no flags. Flap lever set 15. Yep, here we go. Autopilot test button push, so it doesn't work in this one. And cause panel check, so just the pusher and the angle of attack sensor de-ice. Okay, cause panel check, pilot ventilation window closed, yes it's closed, external light switches as required. So we're gonna turn on our taxi lights. Okay. Okay, parking brake release. So parking brake released. Okay. Alright, so in the taxi we're gonna check our brakes, flight instruments are turning, and the passenger wing switches are gonna come on. Okay. Right, let's go. And I wanna actually switch off that light, switch this to 50%. That should go off. Should go off there, yep. And I just want to set the okay, yeah, it's that one. And then I'm just gonna turn this down. Yeah. Alright, ready to go. So, you're gonna be hearing the sound coming through the microphone as well. I could not be bothered to restart the sim just to get it to
Agramont ground GOO DSP ED 122 ready to taxi IFR.
Goodspeed 122 taxi to and hold short of runway 08 via taxiway Delta Bravo. Contact tower on 118.5 when ready.
Taxiing hold short runway 08 via taxiway Delta Bravo Goodspeed 122.
Okay, so that's Delta Bravo. Let's keep going. Turn. Let's just hold here. I want to see if I should go all the way down there. I'm loading the flight plan here on the tablet. Come on. Yeah, so they want us to go all the way down here. Alright, let's keep going. Alright, so during the taxi, we're gonna be doing our brake check. So brakes work for sure. Flight instruments. So yep, it seems like the flight instruments are working. And passenger wind switches are on. And then just before we go, we're gonna do our pusher test as well. Okay. Alright, that's good. So this is the apron I was telling you about. With some aircraft sitting on the apron here, so we're gonna go around these. Tried some beta there, but I think I have to remap this beta for when I'm landing. It causes the throttle to go all the way up to about 50% when I remove it from beta. So it's not the best setting I have right now. Okay. Alright, as we stop here, Jane is going to be very eager, but we're going to do some checks just before we line up.
Agremont Tower GOODSP 122 ready for IFR departure runway 08.
Takeoff power calculated, fuel
Good speed
quantity check.
122
We have more than
altimeter 29.904 wind 058 at 7.
Adjust,
Cleared for takeoff runway 08.
So, engine
Cleared for
adjust.
takeoff runway 08 GOODSP 122
Yeah, trim is in the green. Flaps 15 degrees. Yes. 15. Flight controls free and correct. This is very important even in the sim because there are times when I've tried to take off and my yoke is not plugged in. So cost panel check. Yes, radio and avionics as required. Yes, the ice probe switches to come on, and then we're gonna also switch the window heat to light. Okay, windshield heat, external lights as required. So our external lights, we're gonna go landing, recox and strobes. Transponder and altitude and condition lever flight idle. Let's line up. Isn't she beautiful? Okay, we're gonna line up. And then once we line up, we're gonna set our heading to the runway heading, and then we're also gonna move our condition lever to flight idle. And we're not gonna use the entire runway. We're capable of taking off on short runways, so we should have adequate runway for this. Okay. We're going to rotate at about 90 knots, so okay, let's set our heading, and it's going to go to flight idle. Alright, engine looks good, oil is good, temperatures are good, and NG is good. Okay, let's go. Taking off. We're gonna go to about 41% torque. Okay, thrust set, 90 knots, take off. Okay, we're in the air, gear up, flaps up.
Good speed 122 contact Havana Center on 123.7. Good day.
123.7 GOODSP 122 Goodbye.
Okay, let's turn.
Havana Center GOODSP 122 is at 1,400 feet, climbing 13,000 feet.
Good speed 122 Havana Center altimeter 29.9 for radar contact continue.
Come back for a little bit more. We're flying out like a rocket ship. Okay, we're gonna trim. Okay, that's good. Alright, we're on an intercept heading, and then we're gonna go IAS, set our heading, and hit the autopilot.
And maintain flight level 220, Air Transat 9057.
And then nav. So we should intercept this, hopefully. Perfect. All right, let's do our after takeoff checklist. So, okay. So yeah, so we have landing gear is up, flaps 0, external lights as required. Okay, we can switch off these, we don't need them anymore. Yaw damper is active, yes, and weather radar is on. Okay. Alright, so our climb checklist is coming up next. And we have ice protection system as required, autopilot as required, power control lever set. So, yep, we're doing pretty good right now. We're at 96% NG. We just need to be below 720 ITT, and our torque needs to be less than 38. Okay. Alright, let's reset our view. Oh, I'm not having, I don't have FS realistic running. I don't know if that's causing the crashes, so I'm just gonna leave that off for now. Sync our heading again. ECS is in auto, engine instruments, monitor, and temperature is required. And then we're just gonna check that our cabin is climbing. That's perfect. Oh. Yep, it is. Alright. Okay. So I think we can switch off those lights. If anybody wants to sleep, they can take a nap. Alright. Even though it's not going to be that long, it's just going to be a 45-minute flight, so. Alright, so as we climb, our ITT is going to climb and our torque is going to drop. So we'll just have to watch that. So as it comes up on 720 for the ITT, we're going to reduce the throttle, the power control lever. That's beautiful. Okay, so we're passing 10,000 feet. We can turn off our recog lights. And then we're gonna check our cabin altitude again. Okay, so our cabin altitude is about 3,000 feet. And the pressure differential is about 3.2, and we're climbing steadily at 500 feet per minute. It's perfect. Alright, so our outside temperature is 10.
Flight level 230 GOO DSP-ED 122
I don't know if they've fixed some of the ATC commands, because normally they'd wait until you're like 500 feet below the assigned altitude that they gave you before they would give you the clearance to the next level. But now it's like 2,000 feet always, which is perfect. So it gives you enough time to respond to the message and then adjust your altitude in the autopilot, which I find very good.
Climb and maintain flight level 280 Air Transat 9057.
Yeah, my last flight as well, we got that bug where the ATC stopped. You stopped hearing them. They would still give commands and you could see it in the window, but you stopped hearing what they were saying. But this flight is good so far, knock on wood. Yeah, so we'll keep climbing. Probably find something interesting to chat about during the climb here. And if anyone's actually listening to this, they can at least leave some of their opinions in the comments about anything we talk about here. So yeah, hopefully I'll think of something. Jane is there relaxing, she's taking care of the radios. Okay, so we're now, our ITT is now at 707, so just keep an eye on that. Because we can actually go above 720, but from my understanding, when the temperature the exhaust temperature in the turbine is above 720, the components undergo more heat stress and they wear out a lot quicker. So you'd have to do more frequent maintenance on the engine if you keep the temperature above 720. I think you can go all the way up to 780, but it's not recommended from what I remember. I've studied this airplane quite a lot, but it's been a while, so it's been about a year since I've read all that stuff about it. I tend to like to I'm more of a serious simmer. That's what I like to do, right? I think I like the challenge of being a more serious simmer. I think we can control the volume of this here. Let's see if that works. But yeah, no, that did nothing. Yeah, but in some planes that actually works. I think it works in the JP Logistics Cessna 152. The volume knob in there actually works for the radio, which is kind of cool. But anyway, yeah. So yeah, I'm kind of more of a serious simmer. And when I say this, I don't mean I'm a good simmer. I just tend to like to be more serious about, the sim, because for me, Just flying like a general airplane using the regular sim, it's just not fun. I actually need to, challenge myself to kind of get more fun from it, right? The bigger the challenge, the more fun it is for me. So you'll have simmers out there, everybody knows the popular simmers. Some of them fly just for fun, and others actually, like me, who just like to fly more realistically, right? So when I say it doesn't mean that I'm a good simmer, is I can only fly as realistic as the knowledge I have for the airplane, right? So like, say for now, I might be making a lot of mistakes here, and a real like PC12 pilot maybe looking at it. Oh yeah, we're at 720. Let's reduce our torque. So reduce the power control lever. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so a real PC12 pilot might be looking at what I'm doing right now, and they'll be saying like, oh, you're saying you're a good simmer, but you make all these mistakes. Yeah, I'm gonna make mistakes. I don't know everything, right? But that's where the fun comes in for me, right? When I get to know that, oh, you were doing this wrong all this time, and this is the way you actually do it, right? So I do watch real videos from real pilots, and when they're explaining like what they're doing and kind of picking up stuff from it. And I realized at times as well that different pilots, let's kind of trim this up, different pilots flying the same aircraft type, they have different opinions about how to fly the plane, right? So that's like another thing, right? Because the checklist I just went through, for instance, I've seen a lot of pilots not use that checklist. They don't follow it the way I do, right? This checklist I'm using is from Pilatus, right? The official checklist, and then I modified it a little bit because it didn't have a few things in it that I kept forgetting in the sim, right? But I wanted to remember. And yeah, so you have pilots fly differently, use different checklists, and I guess that's based on like the company or the owner who they fly for, what the requirements are. But yeah, so there are even differences in the real world, right? But I try to follow, it's kind of like I'm more of a rules guy, if you can understand what I mean, right? I like to follow the rules as much as possible, with a few tweaks here and there to fit my interests, right? Yeah. And I find it fun. Some people don't find that fun, right? Some people will say, "Oh, nah, that's not fun. It's like that's giving yourself work." But yeah, for me, it's fun. Wow. Clouds over there look really good. It's a good night to fly. We have I'm not even sure if it's a full moon. It looks quite close though. Maybe a full moon. It's pretty cool. So it's very bright. It's a good night flight time. Oh, I don't think I have VSync on. Oh, I did just update my video card driver, so I don't know if it reset anything, right? Yeah, let's look out this window here. It's pretty good. Yeah, other topics. Okay, so yeah, I'm about 500 feet per minute. That's cool. Yeah, so I am a fan of a few other games, Star Citizen being one of them. I don't play it very often though. I kind of find it very frustrating to play a beta game or an alpha game. I just kind of want it to be, more finished before I play it more frequently. But yeah, I think it's a really good game. I think people give it, and give the developers a lot more heat than is really needed. I think they're working hard to recognize the dream, and criticisms are valid. Some of them are valid, but some of them just kind of go way too far. The guy I really like to watch, and I think he kind of gives a really balanced approach to it, is Salty Mike. He's pretty balanced with most of his opinions, and I think a lot of people probably as well don't understand some of his takes, but because when he's being critical, he's not necessarily being critical of the game. He's more being critical of like the way the developers announce things. So because I think he has like some insider information because he's in the Evocati test group. So yeah, he has a little bit more information. So he is probably on the inside and slightly on the inside, kind of having a little bit of knowledge. A little bit of turbulence here. He has a little bit of knowledge of what they're doing behind the scenes, and he is probably saying, hey, so why don't you just say you're doing this? Right. So yeah, but I love that game. I always thought it was a game that I really wanted to play as a kid. I don't think I played any Chris Roberts games before. I don't know, but I did, because when I was growing up, I grew up in Jamaica, so back in the 90s and early 2000s, Jamaica was, nobody bought legitimate stuff, right? It was mostly bootleg, and games weren't on the top of the list for bootleg, at least computer games. It was mostly like PlayStation games or stuff like that you'd find as bootleg. I don't think Chris Roberts made any PlayStation games, but alright, at least that I played. Yeah, let's just watch this altitude because 734. Let's bring the power back a little bit more. Yep, trail off that temperature. Let's check our ground speed. So our ground speed is 248. We have a 22 knot tailwind, which is not too bad. The other day I was riding like a 50 knot tailwind. I was going like 270. It was crazy. Doing the same leg, back and forth. Well, not back and forth, but going towards Jamaica at a 50 knot tailwind. So Chris Roberts, I think he has a real big dream, and I think a lot of the feature creep that people might see came from the fact that over the years, when the project was being developed, he saw that some of the guys who were coming on the project and working on it, I think he saw that they were really good, and they were probably giving him like some crazy ideas to say like, hey, yeah, we can actually do this, right? And he was like, really? And it's like, yeah, let's do this then. So he was like really excited, and you could see he's like a kid in a candy shop, right? Anytime he talks about the game. And but I think they've kind of reached this balance now for the most part, where they're buckled down on trying to, finish the game, at least this year. Since the last CitizenCon, I've noticed that, really. And yeah, I'm pretty excited for 323. I think that's the one with that's coming out with, what's it called, replication, with the replication layer. And then after that, not sure if there's gonna be, the next one is gonna be 4.0, but yeah, which will come with server meshing, and they're already testing server meshing, which is pretty cool. So yeah. And yeah, I saw some videos with people testing the boundaries of the server meshing thing, and like the planet server was like spinning. I guess most people were trying to explain it and couldn't, but I think what's actually happening is that the planet is like a carousel, right? And in space is like you're on the ground. So if you hop onto the carousel, you will start spinning with the carousel, right? Like the carousel with the horses and stuff like that, go up and down for the kids. And then if you hop off, you're gonna hit the ground and stop spinning, right? So that's kind of cool the way how they implemented that. I think they should kind of leave that in, because they did not really do orbital mechanics, which I believe would be like very difficult to do in a game like that. Because look at even Kerbal Space Program have problems with doing orbital mechanics on multiple bodies, right? Because what they do is that they kind of, like, you have a sphere of influence around the primary object that you're flying, and anything moves outside of that sphere of influence gets like paused or put on like a predetermined trajectory, right? So to pull something off like that in Star Citizen, I believe would be very difficult. Right. Yeah, okay, so we are now at our cruising altitude, and we're gonna pull the power back even more so we can get below 720. I keep coming back. Alright. 723. Keep coming back. Alright, so our torque is now at 13.5721. That's fine. I'm not gonna tweak it anymore. Just leave it at that. Oh crap, we should have changed over to standard. It's not much different anyway. So that's cool. That's something we forgot. Okay, so our cruise checklist: altimeter set, HRS check. We should have checked our cabin altitude at 20,000 feet as well. So we are right up on the limit there of our differential pressure at about 5.123, 5.6, and our cabin altitude is 6,500. Okay, cool. Alright. Power control lever set, yes. Engine instruments monitor, we are in the green. And ice protection as required. Okay. Okay, now we're leaving Cuba. I bought an airport somewhere in Cuba here as well. I had a video where I went there in a thunderstorm. That was one of my better performing videos. I think because I used the thunderstorm thumbnail, it got a lot of views. People were probably thinking, it's gonna be like this crazy stuff, but it was just a normal video. Yep. So it's gonna be 14 minutes. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use this calculator here. So in the chart, okay, let's select RP Blask. Come on. Yeah, okay, yeah, perfect. And then open the chart. Come on. Okay, so we need to be a Blask at 4,000, so we're gonna calculate our VNAV right here. So VNAV, $4,000. And then let's say this is gonna be 2 nautical miles before. Before Blask. Where is it? Okay, here we go. And we're gonna be 1,000 feet per minute. Oh, it's asking me to descend now. Okay. Okay, this. Okay, it hasn't told us to descend yet. Alright. Let's try 1,500 feet per minute. Okay, so in about 6 minutes. Okay. Oh, we did not do what we said we would have done. Flight plan. Oh yeah, I did. Did I?
Speed 1223, you are 82 miles north. Descend and maintain
Haha.
15,000 feet. Expect vectors. Visual runway 09 approach. Speed 1223, descend and maintain 3,000 feet. Speed 1223, descend and maintain 2,400 feet.
Descend and maintain 2,400 feet. Expect vectors. Visual runway 09 approach. GOODSPED 1223.
Okay. And then 2,400. I think they're gonna give us a visual. Arm. Let's set this to. Oh, come on. 1,200. Okay, yeah, we're about doing that. Okay. Alright, our descent checklist is ice protection as required, power control lever set. So we're going to leave the power control lever where it is for now. Pressure controller set. So we're going to set this to sea level. Because the airport is about 60 feet above the sea level, so. Oh, we did not turn off our inertial separator either. So yeah, so stuff like this I need to add to my checklist so that I remember. Right, so I would add in the cruise check to make sure that the inertial separator is switched off. Okay, and the windshield heat is set, so it's on low, it's fine. Alright, let's check if we're still recording. Yes, we still are recording.
1223, contact Kingston Center on 128.1. Good day.
128.1 GOODSPED 1223. Goodbye. Kingston Center GOODSPED 1223 is at flight level 205, descending 2,400 feet.
Speed 1223, Kingston Center radar contact continue.
Okay. Did I have Volanta open? Oh yeah, it is. Let's go map. Add flight plan. Perfect. I should do a screenshot. This. I did like lots of screenshots in the other one. I'm just lazy now and it's dark. Okay, let's check the weather in Aracabessa. Open airport. Weather. So did the weather update? So the 260200, yep, it did update. And 150 at 6. No, did it update? I think so. I think so. Yeah. Broken at 2000s. Looks like the same. Okay. 2985. Okay. Alright, so I've had trouble landing this plane before, and I did some practice, but it was difficult. I was coming in on the approach too quick, too fast, and when you touch down, it had like this tendency to veer off to the left or the right. But then I watched what's his name? Emmanuel's video. I think he's like a 737 NG driver or something like that. And he's, kind of made some good points about landing this plane. And one of the biggest mistakes I think I was making is I was touching down too quickly. So like the approach speed is about 120-ish to around 110 knots, and then once you're getting closer to the threshold, about 100 feet, you start to reduce the throttle, and then you start to pull the nose up, because once you start to reduce the throttle, the plane almost falls out of the sky like a rock, right? Which is kind of weird, but I guess that's how it really flies. Because real PC-12 pilots were, testing this airplane and giving feedback to SimWorks Studios. So I'm guessing it's as realistic as we can get it in the sim. And once you reduce the throttle, the plane is gonna start to fall, and then you're gonna pull back to maintain pitch, and that's gonna bleed speed like crazy. And when you're about to touch down, you're gonna be around 70 to 65 knots, which is kind of crazy, right? Well, maybe not 65, but maybe around 70 to 80 knots, right? When you're touching down. So that's what I'm aiming for today. Hopefully I have a good landing and you guys won't laugh at me, and I don't have to throw this video in the bin so that you don't ever see it. It doesn't ever see the light of day, right? Yeah, that's the saying. Alright, let's zoom in on our map here. Okay, so we're getting closer. And let's check our VNav. Okay, so we're just about on profile. I can just tweak it just a little bit because I don't want to be too high. Alright, so we're going to Imadi. Okay, so after we get to Imadi and we're on our way to Blask, I'll activate the approach, and then we should head direct to Blask. Okay, because that's 2,000. Let me shallow back to this. Shallow. Because I just realized what I was doing. Let me just take a look here at the chart. So this is 4,000. Zanpa, we should be at 3,000. And then we're crossing Talov. So T-Bear at 2,000. Okay, so what we want to do is... Oh yeah, no. I'm fine, yes, because I set 4,000 in the VNav. Yes, I'm heading down to 4,000 in the VNav. That's correct. So I'm good. I'm good. Just keep double checking in my mind, Okay, it doesn't like being on the vertical profile. I think that's, it doesn't want you to be confused that the vertical speed is actually the altitude, right? You're setting, so it flashes to remind you to switch it back to altitude. For the life of me, I can't remember how to dim the screen. I think I've done it before, but I just can't remember, man. There's a knob somewhere in here, and I've tried all these here, but it didn't work. I just can't remember. Yeah, I don't remember. One of these days I'll figure it out, or I'll just go and check the manual. Hopefully I can find it. Okay, synchronize our heading. Okay, so let's try to procedure activate approach. Okay. So now that's in. What's our minimums? Our minimums. So circle to land, circling to another authorized south of the extended runway center line. Minimum decision altitude. So what's this? 2000, 4.2, 2003. I have no idea. This one's confusing. There's a minimum point here at BS 515. But I have no idea what minimum altitude that is. I don't know if it's this. Minimum decision height, but this is for circle to land. For straight in landing, it has not authorized. Which is weird. So I'm not sure. But I'm gonna set 1200. So it's this one here. Where does it update again? I don't remember. I think it was on the screen. But I don't see anything happening. Let me turn on the floodlights. This cabin. Ugh. Yeah. Okay. Let's scroll this. Where is it? Is it changing anything? Ah, there we go. Oh, so I have to click it. Can I drag? No. This is gonna take forever, man.
120.6 GOODSEED 1223. Goodbye. Manly approach GOODSEED 1223 is passing 6,700 feet, descending 2,400 feet.
Speed 153. Manly approach altimeter 29er. Decimal 88 radar contact. Continue.
Oh. My mouse has this free running middle mouse click. Oh, perfect. Okay, I'm coming up. Time to slow down. And switch off this light. Switch off this light. Let's slow down. Okay, let's look at our charts. So, before landing, as protection as required, altimeter set. Set that. Yep. Fuel quantity check 606. Landing gear down. Let's hold for that. Okay. And we'll just check our charts. So after blast, we're going down to 3,100. So we're clear to 2,400, so let's just keep on that same trajectory. 2,400, because when we're at T-bar, we're at 2,200. Okay. Yeah, we should have our, oops, no, recogs should come on. Yep, hold your horses right here. You want to fly this a little bit better. Okay. The passengers must have felt sick a while ago. That drastic stop. Okay, so down to 3,000, then we're gonna go down to 2,200. And we are going to arm the approach. Don't play with me. Doesn't want to do it. Alright, gear down. Flaps 15. Okay, let's check our checklist. Landing gear down, landing lights. Okay, yep, those can come on. So remember, we want to go slow. Oh. Give me the map. Oh my god. Oh. Okay, there's the airport. Then we're gonna turn here soon, hopefully. Yes, yes, we know. Alright, so I'm getting a little pressure here, so we're gonna dial it back a little bit and regain our composure. Alright, so we're turning on to final, and now we can go down to 2,200. Oop. Okay. Inertial separator open. External lights, flap set, speed AOA, center, passenger brief, inertial separator. Why isn't it going down? Okay, we're gonna disable the autopilot. We're gonna start going down. Okay, so now we're on MKBS traffic. Let's set our heading here. 09. This is runway heading. Approach still not working. Okay, it won't work. Fine, that's fine. So we're going to T-Bear, and T-Bear has us at 2,200, so let's keep going down. I don't think I'm gonna be using any beta when I'm landing, or I don't know, because it's gonna do that funny thing where it raises the throttle, and I don't want to mess up my landing, so I just think I'm gonna use the brakes. Okay, trim. Alright, so we're about 100 knots on approach here. I'll just maintain that. So yep, we're going over T-Bear at about 2,200. Next is To Love, and that's 2,000 feet. See that we're on glide slope with VSI there. Okay, so there's a 5 knot slight crosswind. It's mostly a headwind. Well, until we turn onto runway heading. Okay, so next is BS 515, and that's 1200. That's our minimums. Okay, so we don't need the flight directors anymore, and we're going to disable the yaw damper just before landing. Okay, trim. We're getting some updrafts from the mountains here. Passengers, be seated for landing and prepare yourself. Hold on to your seats and hope we don't crash. So imagine an Embraer E175 lands at this airport. That's crazy stuff. Okay, we need to trim. This updraft is crazy. High now. So we're going down below minimums. We can see the airport pretty clearly. There's a mountain there, or a ridge, right before that threshold, so we have to be careful. That ridge is 636 feet high. So let's watch out for that. Yeah, because we're aiming to land on the Vasi, right? We're not aiming to land just on that, beyond that green mark there, threshold, no. Okay, yaw dampers can go off. Okay, now we're gonna stand rudder. Okay, reduce the throttle. again, that was a rough one, but was nice and buttery. Whoa. I'm proud of myself. That was a good one. Okay. Alright, so we're gonna move this to ground idle. That's crazy. Wow. That was such a good landing. I feel good about that. Alright. So. Alright, let's turn her around.
Warning, trim.
Oh yeah, we're not gonna take off. Alright. So after landing checklist. Alright. Let's vacate the runway. First thing. Well, I'm gonna put the flaps up. I want any rock chips in the flaps. Okay. Power control lever ground. No, as required. Condition lever ground at the flaps up. External lights as required. Okay. So we are going to go to. Pay attention. Taxiway Alpha. Okay. Yeah, this is a plane you have to constantly monitor when you're taxiing. It tends to want to pull to a particular side. It's using a lot of rudder. Okay. First line is for the Embraer E175. And then we're gonna park here at this stand. Okay. Okay, we're not gonna do any cleanup until we stop. Okay. Ah, perfect. Set our parking brake. Okay, and our lights can go off. Okay, goes on. Windshield heat can go off. Probes can go off. Those can go off. Turn off the cooling system. Switch this to off. Okay, let's do a checklist. So runway vacated, power control lever as required, control lever ground at the flaps up, external lights as required, all the icing switches off, transponder and standby. So I'm gonna switch off that as well with the radar. Power control lever, idle D10, parking brake set, ECS off. Yes, external light switches off, de-icing switches off, cooling and heating switches off, standby switch can come on. Avionics bus 1
Warning,
and 2
avionic bus.
Off. Gen 1
Warning, warning, essential bus, generator 2.
Condition lever cut off. Oxygen valve cut off. Lighting switches off. We're gonna leave this for now. We're gonna turn on the cabin lights. Battery 1 and 2 off. We're gonna keep those on for now. And we're gonna deboard the passengers. Let me turn on my camera here. Or my controller. Sorry. Okay, perfect. Excuse me, miss. A second time. Okay, so your bags are ready to go. You guys can leave as soon as you are ready. Okay, we're gonna take a look at the airport at night here. Okay, we can switch these off. And then these guys are gonna all deboard. Right? Okay. So just me and Jane. Alright. So, alright, let's take a look at the airport real quick. Oh, the world turned on us. Okay. Okay, I have to use a controller. So this is Ian Fleming. Oh, wait. We forgot one thing. Beacon lights can go off. Yeah. Alright, so, yes. Landed in Jamaica. Nice. Alright, so, yeah, Ian Fleming International Airport, formerly Boscobel Airport. So I did this one here. And it's pretty nice. Night vibe. Yeah, our flight just came in. Too bad we didn't enable replay, but another time. Yeah, we have the Jamaican flag there. Blowing in the wind. It's pretty cool. Alright, guys, so that's it. Oh, so there's one last thing I want to add to this airport to make it perfect. And it's wig-wag lights. So I watched the video and I did actually see wig-wag lights. I didn't think it would have them, but they are there. So that's pretty cool. So that's one last thing I need to add to this airport. But welcome to Jamaica, guys. And we're gonna call it the video here. It's been recording for so long. My disk space should be all chewed up. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.